Welcome, my allies from all around. This is Frontline, and today we are going to be doing a brand new series called One Build a Day. Now, One Build a Day is something that I have been doing on both Twitter and Instagram for a while now. I do one build a day, I post pictures of it, and be able to show it off. But now on this YouTube channel, I'm going to be able to show you guys the builds showcased every week to be able to show off kind of what I've been doing on this stuff and be able to just demonstrate it to you guys in this kind of format. So now let's just get started. So this episode is going to be longer than normal because instead of 1 week's worth of builds, we've actually got 13 different builds that I've done over the past little while. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Over here is day one that I posted on Twitter, the minimalistic sewer design. This one is one that I really ended up liking. If we kind of just go up down here, as you can see, it gets darker and darker as we try and travel into the tunnel. We flick this lever and it opens up the areas here so that we can see the sewer here. So it's very, very plain. I almost was going to try and make a cool redstone mechanism that would be able to like sort the excrements and stuff. But I was all like, no, it's minimalistic. I'm not going to do any of that. Plus, that would have taken a lot longer. So here you can see it's like there's a flickering light that ends up going around. That was just something that I thought would be a cool idea that's like very much like the lighting and stuff isn't well maintained. Obviously, like the different areas down here is growing things, like mostly around the water because the water tends to be able to host different bacteria and things. It grows the moss all around and creates a bit of problems. So yeah, this one was one I ended up liking, and one of the things that definitely made me continue on this project and be able to show it to you guys today. So over here is day number 2. This one was posted on Instagram, the lava themed tower. So right here, this one took a while to be able to get right, I think, and it did end up turning out all right in my opinion, at least. So I did show off the exterior in my Instagram post, but I didn't really show off the interior. There's not much here. It's just mostly like the insides like are a little bit decorated, and being able to have like this lava fountain going down from the ceiling into the ground. So that was definitely interesting to be able to build. The block palette changed a lot on this one. I couldn't figure out like how to be able to create a cool design on the front like this, and it was quite a process to be able to make it actually look lava themed without it being a little bit too over the top. So over here was a day 3 abandoned road that I posted onto Twitter. I really liked how this one turned out. It took a while to get the block palette right and to be able to get everything like together, but the idea of it was just that it's like this was blocked off for safety concerns, being able to drive along this path. It was used, but eventually this tree fell down, blocking the way that the ground was dug down into. And obviously there's a lot of like dead plants like to the side of the road because people kept running them over. Different dead bushes that have like been growing over time around here. And then on the exteriors, like the leaves just been slowly encroaching onto the path as it's been not upkept. So definitely like an interesting build there. Has a little bit of a story, not too much, but still one I quite like. Over here is day 4, the undead altar. And this one was posted on Instagram, but it's one that I didn't particularly like. You guys might like it, but it was just one that's like, obviously we have like the skeletons here with like the undead skulls and fire, but there wasn't too much that I felt like I could do with this one. I feel like maybe if we had a bigger room, they could make it look more like some kind of like underground temple or something. Then it would have looked better, but it just looks more like a basement that has some creepy stuff inside of it. So yeah, you can see that like barrier blocks are containing the wither skeletons inside of there. But yeah, not exactly my proudest build out of all these ones I've done here, but still, yeah, it's a decent one. Anyway, now we're over here towards day 5, the power station. This one also turned out alright, but I didn't really like the exterior too much anyway. Because over here, it's very hard to make things look modern and stuff. And normally in these power stations, like things are like really crammed together. It looks like so busy. It's hard to make it look super busy without it looking very flat. So I tried to like keep the stuff separate and random as I could. And it turned out alright, but not exactly that great in my opinion. Down here, if we press this button, it actually opens up this door in which we can go down into the basement, in which we have different guys being able to shovel coal into here to be able to power it up. I like the whole entire pile over here that they're able to work with the station, even though normally power stations aren't really connected to power plants. I think that this one was kind of a cool concept to be able to have. Down here, I think it turned out pretty alright. I like the feel of that one, that it looks a little bit dim, as though like the workers have to go into that with like not very good conditions and stuff, and it just like has this eerie feel to it down there. So over here we have day 6, the Bat Cave. This one was also posted to Twitter because I accidentally skipped a day in Instagram. Technically this was supposed to be 15 days, but it ended up being 13 for multiple reasons, but this one was just like I didn't have time and accidentally like decided to post it to Twitter instead. So down here with this cave, we have I guess a singular bat flying around. But yeah, the block palette was definitely an interesting one. I tried to make the cave look as rounded as I could while still keeping it be as natural as I could. And you may be wondering what these slime blocks are. And I did notice one person on Twitter said, "Oh, that's pretty cool for underneath a nuclear power plant." And well, it's not really nuclear waste. It might be like the excrements of the bats. That basically like my inspiration was from like the Indiana Jones like Disneyland ride. Like queue line, in that like when you go through like those different caves, you see like this golden like goo on the walls, and it's basically like implied that it's just like the bat poop that's all over the walls and stuff. I guess there's some bats like just hanging upside down around here, so only this one's like active, but some of them are sleeping. But yeah, it's like it was an interesting thing to have, and I'm glad that like I also was able to have barrier blocks to keep the bats inside of this area so that they couldn't escape. That just makes it so that it's like it guarantees that they'll stay there throughout the whole time that this world is open. Over here is an interesting concept. This one was day 7, a Blaze XP farm. I purposefully timed this one out so it would be posted on Instagram, so not too many people would see it, because I think I might build in a Craftaway episode. That's basically like my inspiration for this. Like obviously it's like a Blaze farm area down here that like that's where the blazes drop in, and like on Craftaway, our Blaze farm area is a little bit cramped, a little bit all over the place, and I wanted to organize it a little bit. So this was a interesting build. I like how it turned out. I still need Cloutos' permission if I'm going to build on the realm. But over here, I even have redstone worked out so that the water softener, if you just press the button, it will go ahead and water down the blazes so that they're like hurt a little bit. And then like this thing turns a T flip-flop on so that the blaze flusher above can push pistons so that the blaze eventually fall down this hole without having to like do any weird shenanigans of just going inside of there and messing with all that stuff. But yeah, you also may be wondering why I have a water softener, since this is going to be in the Nether. And the main reason is on Craftaway, we broke it. we were able to get water into the Nether. So yeah, that's one of the things. But yeah, you can enchant, be able to get lapis from this dropper. All the blaze rods are going to be stored all around here. Probably more storage than we'll ever need, but that's fine. It's just an interesting concept that will be fun to build if I ever get permission to do so. So over here, on to day number 8, is a Dismal Blacksmith. This one I really ended up liking, especially since it got to emulate like pictures I found online, in which like normally blacksmiths, like this one's supposed to be like an old western blacksmith, they're in the middle of nowhere. Like there's a bunch of like dirt paths around the place, like no vegetation around. It's one of the reasons I used like dirt and no grass at all. Just a simple smith over here, guy like selling you different tools on here. And then if you actually like go inside, you can see the work area. I tried to make this place look pretty nice. Like the lighting I made as dim as possible. I think there's a little bit of a lighting glitch going on here. Yeah, so that's supposed to be looking more like that. And I really like this. There's like a golden pressure plate, but that's supposed to be like a iron pressure plate that's like really hot along with an axe, because he just like used the fire to be able to make it all coal and stuff. But you may be noticing that there is barrier blocks separating yourself from this guy. Why is that? Because if you step on the golden pressure plate while it's on anvil, it block updates it and says, hey, you can't place pressure plates on anvils, so it destroys it. So I safeguarded it so that I would never go ahead and stumble by it like an idiot and mess everything up. So there we go. It's frozen in time, protected by barriers, so that everything will end up being cool. But yeah, I did like how that one turned out. You can even see the chimney as it goes, even a little bit of fire, so that if you ever do see, you might be able to catch like smoke rising out of it at times. And definitely a really cool build. So over here, we actually have a Viking ship. I forget if I posted this one. I think I posted this one on Twitter. I'm pretty sure I posted this one on Twitter for day 9. And I really like how this one turned out. At first, I wasn't quite convinced I could do it, but I ended up getting the shape actually to work out, because I used a lot of reference material for this one, where basically like on Viking ships, it normally like has this weird shape on like the front and back of it, where there's like some kind of dragon on like the like sides and stuff, or whatever they try and like have that be. And I like how that turned out by even having like the Ender Dragon head attached to it. And the shape of the bottom took a while to get to be able to have it so that like this bottom part was as flat as it could, and then it eventually like kind of extends out. And then on the sides we have shields for the whole entire thing, and paddles that people are able to go through. All the reference materials actually had it be like that the flag was red and white. I had like no one comment that like, why is it purple? And I just thought, well, I like purple. It's in my logo, so I just changed it to purple. Hopefully no one minds that, but that was just a creative liberty I took. Over here is a royal library. Now this one, yeah, I like the exterior. The exterior like took way longer than it should have taken. Like these builds I try and do like within like the time span of 30 to 45 minutes. The exterior took a little over 30 minutes to do. So already we were time consumed, like to the brink of like not being able to do everything correctly. And then we went inside, and I kind of like it. Like I like the arch that goes around. I like the lots of books, but the exterior needed to be a lot bigger so it could house the interior. Like this area here is a little bit small for what a royal library normally is. Like obviously we have like the royal carpeting, which I guess could have been purple, but I think that red is also a royal color. It might be more traditional in like a library area. Like purple is what the king wears, not necessarily what he has everywhere. So you may be also wondering why there's chests here. It's more so that you can actually house books inside of it. I might end up actually putting books inside of it so it has like a little bit better of an atmosphere, but I didn't do that yet. So you can just be able to go ahead, like climb the ladder. Say you wanted like, oh, I want like this novel like that's up all the way over here. You'd be able to go ahead and grab it from the chest. I guess you could grab it from down here, but it's more realistic to use the ladders to be able to actually grab it with, you know, without grabbing it from like 5 meters away from where you are. But yeah, I feel like this one was kind of a fail, but also not bad. whenever I say these are fails, I kind of also want to know what you think, because I could just be being hard on myself, but I just really want to know your feedback on which ones were good, which ones were bad. Over here, we have the Underwater Library, Underwater Lounge, day 11. And this one was interesting. Well, I keep saying that. All of them were interesting to do. But this one was especially interesting because I hadn't really worked with the underwater materials all that much. So you can see it's like the red is the exit, and then we have the green actually be the entrance in which it sucks us down. You also see that pressure plate activates a jukebox here, so you can actually listen to the music as we kind of go along here, you know. So it's like in the background you're hearing like stall play, which arguably is like the best music disc, at least in my opinion. And over here you can even see a Heart of the Sea, so we have conduit power if you were in survival or adventure or whatever. It's like you would be able to just kind of swim around, be all around the lounge and all that kind of stuff. Normally lounges, when I was looking up the reference material, they're a lot more neat and tidy than this, but I kind of end up being all like, you know what, I'm not even going to look at the reference material. I'm going to be all like, hey, this lounge is going to, instead of being all neat and tidy and like modern, I think that an underwater one would be cool like this, where you have like different plants and things all about. I was originally going to have fish in here, but they like were kind of weird. They centered around the Heart of the Sea, and it just didn't look out quite right as I thought it was going to, as they would like not be able to swim around randomly, and they just collected in one place. So that was that. I like it, even though it was a little bit time consuming and ended up being kind of weird looking in my opinion, but I think that it was good in its own respect. Over here is day 12, the Jungle Café. This one, it was fine. The exterior I actually kind of like quite a bit, mostly like if it was like in a jungle, I think that this one would end up being like really blended in. It would be kind of cool for you to stumble across. It'd be all like, oh, what's this? And then you go in and you're all like, oh, it's a nice little cafe here. And this guy's even like cleaning the table here that has got a little bit sticky, but hopefully he'll be able to get that by the time that the next patron comes in. So over here, welcome to the jungle. We got food and things. They've got like rabbit, salmon, they've got like beetroot, and then they've got pumpkin pies, all kinds of different stuff. This guy even has like drinks that you're able to take, and like a chest full of like the foods and stuff here. I really like that the pistons were able to be used as tables, even though it's kind of hard to sit at the tables. Like you're not able to actually be in your seat. You have to stand on top of your seat. But I kind of decided I wanted to make it aesthetic rather than actually functional for this one. So that's that. And I think it turned out all right, even though the interior of the Jungle Cafe probably could have been a little bit bigger. So that was that. And then this one is the one I actually did today as of I'm recording this, but it would have been yesterday as of release of this video. The Spooky Warehouse. Ooh. And I think that this one was, although I had some fails earlier, this one had to have been one of my biggest, although it's not bad. So over here you can see it's very spooky, got lots of ghosts, spiders that are invisible. How this was actually done is command blocks, like they're constantly being given the effects invisibility and regeneration. And you may be wondering, why regeneration? Well, these guys keep killing themselves, and I'm so annoyed by it. I keep seeing them, like, the stupid spiders, they climb up, they go up here, and then they just, like, go ahead and fall, and then, like, they damage themselves. But the problem is, I think if they go all the way up to the top of here, they actually fall and die. So, regeneration might not actually do much for them. But I just decided, whatever, I'm going to keep it there anyway, just in case any of them do end up only hurting themselves a little, then it just keeps them around for a little bit longer and not, like, die as quickly. You may also notice that there's, like, a little bit of stains here, blood spatters. But I don't know. It's like I haven't really seen like a ghost around here that like would have been like the like whatever this accident was caused by. So I don't know. I don't know if that's really too necessary of a detail there. There were a lot of chests. The chest placement was the most annoying part of this, and it turned out all right. There was just a lot to that, and I also wouldn't call this necessarily a failure because it was like bad looking. It was mostly a failure because it took way too long. These builds, again, like I said, I try and make them 30 to 45 minutes. This one took, I think, an hour and a half, so twice as long as what I tried to aim for. So I need to be able to do that better in the future. The exterior obviously is very lame. I just didn't even want to deal with the exterior after I had dealt with the interior. So there's that. It's just a giant block at the moment. Yeah, probably my worst exterior yet. Now, one of the things that you may be wondering is why in the world did I build a rainbow road? And it's not because I'm necessarily a huge, like, trying to emulate Mario Kart, but it's more because this is more the experimental phase. These were all random builds. They were made using random build generators. I went online, been able to go through all of them, be able to create random things. I guess this one was the only exception. This one was like an idea from my mind instead of a random build generator. But yeah, the rest was made in that kind of a way. But yeah, what I'm going to do instead of doing random build generators is I'm going to actually have monthly themes. So you may notice that I'm releasing this on the 1st of February. So what will February be? The theme for February is going to be frozen builds. I want to be able to get really good at building things in the frozen theme. Okay, let's restart that. So I want to get really good at building the frozen theme. The problem with the randomness that I've been doing previously is that I've not been sticking to a particular style. I think that if I stick to a particular style, I'll be able to see my improvement over time, be all like, okay, I kind of like know like what block palette works with this, be able to experiment in being able to see, okay, maybe I'll be able to use this block instead, or maybe I can, instead of like doing a certain thing, do another thing. I don't know. I still need to actually learn that because I haven't built in any of these styles before. So every month is going to change. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing Frozen for the rest of the series, but for the entire month of February, I'm going to be building Frozen objects. And over here, this is unrelated to the Frozen theme at all, but I will eventually be able to also build a main structure that will be able to teleport me to the different themes that I end up actually doing. So it'll be able to be all like, okay, teleport me to like day 1 here, which is the start of just my random phase, like the start of this entire project, be able to go all the way down there and keep on going for what will probably be a really insanely long distance since it's going to be 365 days worth of content. But yes, we will be able to go through all of that kind of stuff and be able to learn things on the way. But anyway, before I go, I do want to mention that I am up for any suggestions. If you know any builds that you want me to do that are in the Frozen theme, let me know below in a comment so that I will be able to build your style, maybe even call you out so that you will be able to be mentioned in the video for suggesting such a build towards me. But anyway, that is going to be the end of this episode of One Build a Day. I would promise that it would go on forever, but that would be a lie. Subscribe to the channel so you can catch up more on these episodes, and until next time, I'll see you guys all later. Bye.